Perry accuser Derek Dixon sits down in a TV interview for the first time, sharing allegations of workplace assault and harassment. Accuser claims that Tyler Perry denies, but Dixon says he's speaking out now to try to stop a billionaire who won't stop themselves.
Breaking news. Tyler Perry, the billionaire mogul once praised as a giant of Black Hollywood, has just been arrested. FBI agents stormed his Atlanta mansion in a raid that uncovered what insiders called disturbing evidence tied to alleged victims. His empire of redemption stories now stands at the center of Hollywood's darkest scandal. Black SUVs rolled up in real time, blue-jacketed agents flooding Perry's estate with military-style precision. Eyewitnesses say they hauled out boxes of files, encrypted drives, and possibly even video proof of damning encounters. Security staff looked rattled, neighbors whispered, and even hardened officers seemed shaken by what they found. All that evidence now sits locked in an FBI vault, guarded around the clock. Insiders warn this could be the start of an empire's collapse.
Tell us about the first time you ever met Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I met him at his studio opening party in 2019. I was working for an events company, and we met, and he said to me, are you an actor? And I said, well, not right now. I'm working on it, but not right now. And he said, yeah, you are. We need to talk. You should get my number and we'll.
Perry's team, silent, phones off. Lawyers holed up in a war room, bracing for what comes next. The most chilling discovery? Secret hard drives, encrypted, hidden behind false panels inside Perry's mansion. Not studio backups, but buried files locked down with heavy codes like someone never wanted them found. What's on those drives has the DA and fans on edge. Could they expose coercion, manipulation, or worse? Authorities refuse to confirm, but insiders whisper these files could be the final nail in Perry's Hollywood legacy. This isn't just a fall from grace, it's about raw power. A mogul accused of using money, access, and promises of stardom to trap people in a dangerous game. And the bigger question, just how many victims are out there? Sources say the FBI probe is already reaching far beyond Perry's circle, shaking boardrooms, film sets, and social feeds everywhere.
What made you decide to come forward with your story?
I wanted to speak out and not stay silent about it anymore.
What kind of a toll would you say that this has all taken on you?
I was extremely anxious. The calls got to a point where the calls and texts were almost every day. Just this constant state of like, if I don't answer, I will lose my job.
One veteran Hollywood exec didn't hold back. If the rumors about those hard drives are true, the industry's got a much bigger problem than anyone admits. And now, stepping into the spotlight, Derek Dixon, the actor from Perry's BET drama The Oval, who's putting a face and voice to the growing allegations. Derek Dixon didn't just file a lawsuit, he dropped a bombshell that shattered the polished image of Tyler Perry Studios. In his first TV interview since suing Perry, Dixon declared, "I wanted to speak out and not stay silent anymore." His claims go far beyond one man's story. He describes a coercive, exploitative dynamic that, if true, rips open the curtain on a hidden world of power and control.
We're over at his house. We're having some drinks in his guest house, and it was late at night, and he has a guest quarters, and said that you can sleep there instead of not driving. And his house is far from Atlanta and where I was living. And I got into bed, and then I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well, and started rubbing my leg. And I jumped up out of bed.
Court documents and Dixon's own words trace a timeline that feels like the setup to a nightmare. It started in 2019 at the star-studded opening of Perry's studio. Dixon says Perry personally sought him out, asked if he acted, and handed over his number. An offer that should have been a dream come true. Instead, Dixon now calls it the trap that changed everything. Months later, he landed the role of Dale on The Oval, a career-making gig. But from the first encounter, he claims Perry pushed their relationship into something far too personal, intrusive, toxic, and impossible to escape. The lawsuit accuses Perry of twisting mentorship into manipulation. Screenshots shown in court reveal unsettling messages, with Perry allegedly asking, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless fun? Have you found that in therapy yet?" "I would hope that you'd let someone hold and make love to you." Perry's legal team fired back fast. Attorney Matthew Boyd blasted the lawsuit as nothing but a scam, insisting, "Tyler will not be shaken down. These fabricated claims will fail." But for Derek Dixon, this fight isn't about money. It's about surviving shame, fear, and the weight of his own story. He told ABC News how it haunted him, wondering what he could have done differently, how he could have avoided the trap.
He has said, turn around so I can look at you, and just commented on how I looked, and then he got up and left. So I thought after that instance, it was pretty clear that I was not interested in that type of a relationship. It was very, very strange. I mean, I think it's okay that people try to make a move or shoot their shot, but if they get rejected, I think that they should stop.
Dixon claims things escalated in January 2020 when Perry invited him for drinks at the Atlanta mansion. Instead of a safe night in the guest house, Dixon says it turned into a nightmare. He recalls Perry climbing into bed, rubbing his leg, making comments about his looks. "I jumped out of bed," he said, "turn around so I can look at you." Then he left. But if Dixon thought the boundary was set, the script told a darker truth. His character Dale was written to take 4 bullets at the end of season 2. Dixon feared one thing clear: if I don't make him happy, I could be gone from the show for good. From there, he alleges, came endless pressure. More late-night texts, more invitations, even unwanted touching in Perry's trailer. And the most explosive claim yet? June 2021. Inside Perry's mansion, Dixon says Perry pulled down his underwear and told him to just go with it. Dixon says he locked himself in the bathroom, only feeling safe once Perry left the room. "Unless you've had your control over your body taken, you don't really understand," he confessed on TV. That fear of being trapped, losing everything, runs through every line of his lawsuit.
That was his way of showing his power over us and our careers, and that he doesn't have a problem with just one of us off.
Meanwhile, Perry himself has stayed silent, letting his lawyers fire back with denials and counterattacks. But insiders say the mood inside the studio is pure panic. Employees whisper about rushed NDAS, hush money, and emergency meetings that drag late into the night. Walking away from the Oval in 2024 cost Dixon nearly $400,000 and the rights to his comedy pilot, Losing It, which Perry still allegedly controls. Now, the lawsuit seeks $260 million, not just for damages, but to send a message. How do you stop a billionaire who won't stop himself?
And I said, stop, I don't want to be naked, I don't want this. And he was just like, no, I'm not gonna hurt you, and just continued. And in that moment, unless someone's been through something where they have their control over their bodies taken away, you don't really understand the kind of feelings that you get in that moment. It was almost like every thought came through my head to run.
Looking for money to buy your silence?
No, I think I was looking for accountability on to what he did. I think what he did was wrong, and it needed to be something that would deter him from doing this to somebody else.
Since going public, Dixon's been flooded with messages, some supportive, others threatening, and even claims from people with their own stories about Perry. He admitted, "I was too afraid to come forward. I knew it would be awful. The fallout is undeniable." Industry figures once tied to Perry are now cutting ties, fast. Alfonso Ribeiro, who directed multiple episodes for Perry, says he wants nothing to do with him. Social media is on fire with shade, wild theories, and warnings from actors telling each other to steer clear of Perry's world. The once tight wall of silence around his empire is cracking, and no PR spin seems strong enough to patch it. Hanging over it all, the FBI raid. No official word yet on what those hidden hard drives hold, but insiders claim investigators are combing through every encrypted file, every suspicious email, every frame of security footage. Whispers say the drives may contain messages with actors, studio records, even sensitive videos that left seasoned agents stunned into silence. And if even half the rumors are true, the big question remains. How many others have stories like Derek Dixon's? How many careers crushed? How many dreams silenced? All in the name of power and profit. Behind the billion-dollar empire, insiders say Perry ruled with absolute power. His word was law, and dissent was nearly impossible. From the outside, Tyler Perry Studios looked like a southern dream factory. Endless stages, star-studded premieres, actors flying in from LA, but inside, whispers paint a darker picture. Former writers say they were axed overnight for daring to ask about union contracts. Veteran actors reportedly played by rules that shifted with Perry's moods. He wrote every script, chose who got lines, and who vanished without explanation. One ex-head writer even sounded less like a colleague than a witness, describing Perry's grip as total control. For many, working at the Atlanta compound felt like making it, until suddenly it wasn't. Staff disappeared from call sheets, actors slipped quietly out of town. Crews stayed silent just to survive another contract cycle. Perry's system earned him both praise and power, opening doors for Black creatives while keeping complaints locked down. Now, with allegations mounting, the big question resurfaces. Was Perry's total control creative genius, or the perfect shield for behavior no one dared to challenge? The imbalance of power was clear. Everyone tiptoed around Perry. Even seasoned stars knew one wrong move could land them in career limbo, erased with a single phone call. The cost of speaking up? Lost roles, ruined reputations, and silence forced on anyone deemed too risky. Was Perry's studio really a place of opportunity, or just a carefully staged illusion? Now, with the FBI digging deeper, old whispers look more like flashing warning signs. And fueling the fire is the most explosive rumor yet, the so-called Hollywood silent list. Sources say it's no ordinary blacklist. Instead, it allegedly maps out who's been marked difficult, who owes favors, and who's been paid off to stay quiet. Some insiders even call it a survival guide, handed actor to actor. Keep your NDA ready, watch what you say, and never cross the line if you value your next paycheck. If true, the fallout could reach far beyond Perry, pulling in anyone who enforced or benefited from the system. With federal investigators now interviewing witnesses nationwide, the question isn't if the list leaks, but how far up the Hollywood food chain the damage will spread. The official line hasn't budged. Perry's lawyers still call the allegations fake, a scam to bleed a billionaire dry. But the optics keep crumbling. When former collaborators like Alfonso Ribeiro openly declare, "I don't need or ever want that man to do anything for me," it's clear the old guard is breaking ranks. Just a year ago, Perry was fighting to buy BET. Now, he's fighting to keep his name off a blacklist tied to his own empire. Whether the infamous silent list is real or just whispered myth, the fact so many believe in it shows how fear and complicity ruled life at Perry's studio, and the dominoes are only starting to fall. Derek Dixon's lawsuit cracked open the first door, but now civil lawyers are circling, alleged victims are watching closely, and FBI agents are busy cross-checking texts, timelines, and names. This is no longer about one man. It's about a culture of power and silence that made it all possible. Each new leak, each memo, each whispered claim adds fuel to the fire. Word is a documentary, Surviving Tyler Perry, is already in production, hunting for first-hand accounts and leaked files. The walls of secrecy around his empire are collapsing faster than his own shooting schedules. But this may just be the surface. What's hidden in those FBI vaults? Years of digital archives, surveillance footage, studio logs, and confidential settlements. Hollywood insiders who once begged for Perry's blessing now measure every word, some vanishing behind statements, others ducking calls entirely. Even longtime allies are suddenly silent. The suspense feels cinematic. Every day, another leak, another voice, another piece of the puzzle. Will this expose the ugly truth behind one of Hollywood's untouchable moguls? Or will Perry's legal army bury it all before the world ever sees it? If true, this case could rewrite the rules of power in Hollywood. If not, it forces the question: how much of what we believe is fact, and how much is fiction in the court of public opinion? What do you think? Is this the fall of a mogul, or just another Hollywood takedown attempt? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, share, and subscribe to Star T channel for more.